Finally, Apple announced their new OS in WWDC 25, and after a decade or so, this is the biggest update ever. So the first thing that you have to know is that Apple changed the name of their operating systems. Like lastly, we got iOS 18, right now instead of iOS 19, we got iOS 26. And other than that, macOS, iPadOS, watchOS, tvOS, and all of them are now 26. You know, the reason behind this is because all the operating system that Apple has have some different generations. Like we had iOS 18, iPadOS 18, watchOS 11 I guess, macOS 15, and right now Apple did it on purpose to reduce the confusion. So forget about the naming and all these stuff, let's get straight to the new features on iOS 26. And the first thing that Apple changed is for the lock screen. As you can see, it's glassy, and this glassy look is called the liquid glass. Lots of glasses here. And this liquid glass thing is across all the operating systems, like every part of the operating systems. I'll show it to you. So let's get back to the lock screen, and as you can see right there, the widgets are down here. And up there you could change the size of the clock. You know, Apple calls it adaptive lock screen. Why? Because when you change the size of the clock, the wallpaper also changes, if it's supported, which this one is, since it's the original iOS 26 wallpaper, and it looks good to be honest. And also, if you don't like the glassy look, you could always change the glass mode to solid. Apart from this, there's nothing really new about the lock screen, so let's get to the home screen. So for the home screen, the first thing that you're gonna notice are the new icons, which they look like candy. They're looking cartoonish, and the style of the icons are looking like a modern version of iOS 6, if you know what I mean. And there's also a new style for icons which is called clear, and okay, it looks good, especially in the dark mode. You could also change the size, obviously, which, well, the small one looks better. And right now, as you can see, the icons are now glossy and translucent, which makes them a little bit more premium. And this glossy mode also works on widgets, and as you can see, all of them are now translucent. And surprisingly, this new clear mode is working on third-party apps too, but some of them don't support it yet. And you know, there's supposed to be a light refraction that works with the gyroscope when you move or tilt your device, but since I got an iPhone 13, it doesn't work for me. But if it does work, well, it's a cool thing to see, and overall the new home screen on iOS 26 looks dope. The next big change that I mostly talked about on the previous videos about the iOS 19, well, from the iOS 19, is the camera app, and it looks beautiful. By the moment that you open up the camera app, you can see that everything is beautiful and everything is translucent and floating, and you know, it's premium. But the only thing that you see down there is photo and video. If you want to change the mode, just simply swipe left or right. Swipe left for photo modes and right for video modes. And down there, if you just swipe up from the photo or tap on it, you can see the new section for tools, which also floats. And right now, if you want to change the resolution or the frame rate of the videos, you can easily tap on the top left corner and choose the mode that you want. So the other thing which is related to the camera app, which was a disaster before, is the Photos app, and thank God, they fixed it. Back then, everything was mixed up, and right now, if you open the Photos app, you can see that we got library and collections, which separates the stuff from each other. And then, if you tap on collections, you could see the albums, the featured photos, the shared albums, and others. Surprisingly, right now on the older iPhones, it can also detect the breed of the animals. For example, right now it says Scottish Fold. And what about this one? It says a cat. Genius. Oh my god. There's another new feature that Apple announced on the new Photos app, which turns every 2D photo to a 3D one, which didn't work for me. This feature is also the one that you could set a 3D photo for the wallpaper, and if you rotate or tilt your device, it'll be 3D somehow. Pretty cool. Remember what I said about the Photos app? I said that if Apple doesn't fix the Photos app, I'm gonna switch to the Google Photos. And thankfully they fixed it, so I don't switch. So the next big change that they made is for the new tab bar. First, let me show you inside Safari. As you can see down there, the tools and the search bar layout has completely changed. Down there in the middle, you can see the search bar is now floating, and if you tap on it, you can see the new keyboard. Not necessarily new, but a cool thing. Other than that, everything is on its own icon. For example, on the right side, if I tap on the 3 dots, you can see the new layout for the tools. The share, bookmarks, the new tab, the new private tab, and all this stuff. And on the left, there's an arrow that if I tap on it, it'll bring me back to the previous web page. And if you swipe left or right on the search bar, it'll go through different tabs. Or if you want to see all the tabs that you have, you could simply swipe up from the search bar. This tab bar is included in all native iPhone apps, for example, the podcast app. you can see down there the whole new library, and the search button is now floating. It's not connected to the bottom of the screen now, and as you can see, it gets smaller if I swipe up and get down to the page. It also doesn't fill up the screen, which is very cool, and as you can see, it's something between translucent and transparent. And if I hold on the toggles, you could see that there's a bubble that indicates the thing that I'm selecting. It looks very cool. For example, another tab is App Store that has this thing, and as you can see, it's sort of the same thing. The other new thing that they announced is actually two things, and it's for music. Now, the album art is gonna be full screen, and it's also animated. Back then on iOS 18, it just was a big square. It looks so cool, to be honest, and that animation makes it even cooler. There's also a new translation for the lyrics if you use Apple Music, and it's very useful if you don't understand the thing that the singer is singing. It just simply translates it for you under the lyrics. Now let's get to the Messages app. As you can see, the layout has changed a bit, and now the search bar is at the bottom. There's also a divider that divides the messages from unknown senders, spams, and different SIM cards if you own them, and now you could use message filtering, which opens up the settings that you could turn it on or off. Pretty neat feature. And after many years, they finally allow us to put backgrounds for iMessage. About damn time. Which is buggy and it doesn't work. Great. Yeah, the preview doesn't work, but if you get back to the chat, it shows you the new backgrounds. Inside of the iMessage chat, as you can see now, the background is moving, which is beautiful. You could also set a poll, which was a needed feature inside iMessage. It's very useful if you want to get your friend's opinion. And they also announced a new typing indicator that shows the photo of whoever is typing inside of the group chat, which is very useful. You know, sometimes you might be waiting for someone to send you a text and might be thinking that what's taking so long? This feature is really useful for that times. And there's also a new phone app, which is very neat and new. And instead of going straight to the keypad, right now if you open the app, you could see that it shows you the recent call, but it's more unified. It does allow you to go back to the classic mode, but the unified mode is better. You know, this new update and the style and the redesign of iOS and other Apple operating system is something that people like me wanted for years. And it finally looks beautiful. You know, by the start of the modernization and the change of the look of iOS after iOS 7, it started to look boring. And it was boring, and boring, and boring, but not anymore. But anyways, I really like this new style for iOS and the liquid glass which is included on all operating systems, which is for Apple obviously. And I really appreciate the way that Apple is approaching for the new style of their operating systems. And as for the performance, well, the phone feels laggy, buggy, battery life sucks, and if you want to update through developer beta, just know that your phone will turn into a hot brick. The best thing that you can do is to wait for the public beta if you really want to try it out, after a month or so, because you know there are some optimizations that are needed to be done which they haven't done yet. So yeah, or even better, if you want to really get the stable version, just wait till September and the new iPhones, and then Apple will release the stable version of iOS 26. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good morning.